Hello and welcome to this special movie news here from MBE. Just before we actually broadcast our Friday night movie review, sad news coming in today, John.
Yes.
Sir Ian Holm, one of the world's greatest actors, sadly passed away at his home in London earlier. I think it was this morning, actually. I think both of us. We've not seen all of his work. Obviously,
No.
He's had a long history. I think since 1957. For our generation, John, I think it's fair to say he is most famous for obviously the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Hobbit trilogy, the Fifth Element, that kind of thing, But when I heard this news today,
And Alien,
I was Alien as well, I was very saddened. It's always a sad time when one of your favourite actors sadly passes away. It is all part of nature. He was 88, but it doesn't make it any easier, does it?
well, Stephen, look, we've all had loved ones, grandparents pass away. I mean, I've had two grandparents pass away in the space of a month, 4 years ago now, and they were in their 80s. But you're right, it doesn't make it any easier for his family and for generations of fans of the man.
Yeah.
And obviously, the tragic way in which he's sadly now no longer with us.
Yeah.
But look, I've seen photographs of him fairly recently, and he looked in a really bad way, as you did say, Stephen. Just as recently as The Hobbit, he was unable to actually fly out to New Zealand and complete the shooting.
Him and Christopher Lee.
So again, it's just something that seems to be happening more and more now. Obviously, it's just Father Time's catching up with everyone. It's catching up with me and you as well. We lost Kirk Douglas. Something flashed across the screen there. That was very, very strange.
Yeah.
Kirk Douglas, not long ago, he was 103. All of these great actors, and sadly starting to die off, and it is a real shame. Obviously, you mentioned Christopher Lee. He passed away 4 years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
And it's a tragedy when you start losing these great auteurs, because what they brought to the industry over 40, 50 years, we're saying that we've got an era that's recovering enough video to maintain smooth streaming. I don't know what's going on there, Stephen. It's very, very strange. But we'll crack on with it anyway. As you did say, an absolute pioneer of film. Starring in theatrical Shakespearean plays at the beginning of his career, all the way through to blockbuster movies like Alien and The Lord of the Rings. I mean, he was in 3 iconic franchises.
He was in one of my grandfather's favourite films, Oh, What a Lovely War, which was before my time. But, in my lifetime, John, I've actually listed the films that I do know him from. Alien, as we mentioned, Chariots of Fire, one of the big films of the early 80s. Time Bandits as well, which I forgot about. Loch Ness, which is closer to home, the Ted Danson film from the mid-1990s. The Fifth Element, as we mentioned, he had a massive role, played one of the higher priestesses, I believe, in that film. A Lifeless Ordinary, the Ewan McGregor film.
Lord of War as well. He was in that great movie with Nick Cage.
And we've got The Day After Tomorrow, an action film. The Aviator with Leonardo DiCaprio, the Scorsese film. And he also did some voice work as well. I actually forgot he was in Ratatouille as well. So his last film was The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, which was out, I think, 5-6 years ago now. So, you're right.
That blows my mind. That was 5-6 years ago.
Yeah,
wow.
I know.
Time's just flying by.
I was about to say you can't think of anyone else playing Bilbo Baggins, but obviously Martin Freeman took the baton from him, But there's something that's changed my mind today, and I was thinking about it earlier. Recently, obviously, when I had the coronavirus, I was watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is set obviously after the events of The Hobbit, and they had that flashback scene in I think it was the Fellowship of the Ring, how Bilbo retrieved the ring from
the riddle scene,
from Gollum, and I was going to say they de-aged. They didn't have that technology, when they did that film. They just put sort of makeup on Ian Holm to make him look younger, and it bugged me when the Hobbit films came out that I don't normally do this, but I really wanted them to insert Martin Freeman's scene into that sort of flashback to sort of tie the trilogies. I've kind of changed my mind now. The performance of Ian Holmes would be taken away, very much like Sebastian Shaw in Return of the Jedi. Sometimes things should just be left as they are. It doesn't really matter. It's not a big deal. Martin Freeman's not playing that in that flashback sequences. It doesn't take you out the picture or anything like that. And for me, he is Bilbo Baggins, in that franchise.
Absolutely, Stephen. I think that's probably the first movie I've seen the great man in. I'd have been 10, 11 years old when the Fellowship of the Ring came out. I've also seen Alien as well. I've seen the first 2 Alien movies. He was very memorable in that too. And as I did say, Stephen, I think you can't speak higher of the man's acting talent. That he started off as a Shakespearean theatrical actor. He then progressed into dramas and TV shows, into big blockbuster releases. And then in the later stages of his career, when he was still able-bodied, he went back to doing theatrical work again. So he went full 360, and I just feel like all of the great sort of English-British actors that we've produced over the years, like Sir Alec Guinness and whatnot, they've all had that sort of foundation of theatrical acting.
Ian
Christopher
McKellen,
Lee, Ian McKellen, that's all.
Peter Cushing,
It's all in the blood, the theatrical side of things. So again, it's just real sad news to see that this great man is no longer with us. It saddens me every time a musical hero or an acting hero passes away, because they're no longer here, and you're no longer blessed with the great intellect, the great insight into what they were doing throughout their amazing career. But look, sadly, I've not got much more to add, Steve. I don't know if you have. It's sad news indeed. But look, we will be back in probably the next 5 minutes or so with our spoiler movie review of Spike Lee's The Five Bloods. We shall see you then, guys.